Hedge funds dump gold, silver will jump high. Let's start. This is from Kiko, and it says, it's silver's turn to shine as hedge funds turn their attention away from gold. That is a surprise, but the real exciting part is this is exactly what we've been waiting for silver. The article states, hedge funds are starting to take an interest in silver as it could be the next major momentum play in the precious metals market while gold prices find a balance. And this is really what we saw when gold first broke through the $1,000 level back after the great financial crisis, right? Gold shot up and silver was hovering and waiting. And then finally, as gold leveled off, we saw silver finally start to get its play and move up. So this is really looking like the timing is right. The article states, historic speculative bullish interest in gold has pushed prices to multiple record highs in the last 3 weeks. However, silver has lagged significantly. The gold-silver ratio remains fairly elevated, trading above 88 points. The article states, however, the latest trade data from Commodity Futures Trading Commission shows that silver still has solid momentum as gold's run starts to weaken. This is really what I've been waiting for. Many of us here in our silver stacking community, we've been looking at silver and waiting for silver to really get momentum and start to move. And articles like this, news like this, tells us that we're really starting to get some movement. The article states the FTC disaggregated commitments of traders report showed money managers increased their speculative gross long positions. These are long positions in COMEX silver futures. Listen to this. By 8,000 contracts to 53,000 for the week ending March 19th. That's sounding really positive for silver going up. I mean, those are long positions. Silver has always taken some time to move. And looking at those numbers, that's sounding like we're really in for a bump in silver. The article states at the same time, short positions fell by 3,000 contracts to 16,000. The silver market has seen its net bullish position increase for 3 consecutive weeks. The market is now net long by 37,000 contracts, its highest level since April 2022. Although the silver market has seen a significant increase in bullish speculative positioning, the market is still well below the level seen in early 2020, ahead of the rally toward $30 an ounce. And that makes sense to me. I definitely see $30 an ounce for silver. If you had asked me a month ago, before gold had this push, before gold really jumped up, I would have rolled my eyes and thought there's no way silver is going to move to $30. But seeing what gold did, I mean, this is really giving me confidence, more confidence than really I've felt. I've been in the silver game for years and years. I'm feeling more confident in silver moving up than I have in really at least 2 years. Silver's been stagnant between $22, $24. Now we're hovering close to $25, but it's been about 2 solid years that we've been in this position. So I really see this. I see people, I see traders moving out of gold and looking at silver, even for these long-term speculations. That tells me that we're not the only ones knowing that history is certainly bound to repeat itself, and we see it coming. This article says, in an article with Kiko News last week, John LaForge, head of real assets at Wells Fargo, said that traditional silver is late to the party, but once it finds its momentum, it can easily outperform gold. Those are the words that we want to hear, right? Let me just say that again clearly so you really get it. He said traditional silver is late to the party, traditionally, but once it finds its momentum, it can easily outperform gold. And those of us who really follow the silver to gold ratio rather than daily spot price, I'll confess I'm a spot price guy. I really focus on a daily spot price. And I know I really should not. I know that I should not look at it. But people who look at silver to gold ratio more than spot price, this is how they see it. And this is not a surprise to them. The article says, investors need to see gold move first, and then they will get into silver. It may be slow to rally, but pretty soon silver will be the asset to own. The article continues, some analysts have noted that silver has struggled as investor sentiment regarding the health of the global economy remain mixed. Although silver is a precious metal, roughly 50% of demand comes from industrial uses. There are some concerns that weak industrial demand could lead to lower silver consumption. However, some analysts have noted that silver might be recession-proof as it remains a critical metal in the green energy transition, as it is a major component in the production of solar panels. Analysts have said that the green energy sector remains an attractive target for government spending if the global economy does fall into a recession. That is, again, positive for silver. This green revolution is not going anywhere. Solar panels are continuing. That market is blooming and booming, and electric vehicles are not going anywhere. Like this green revolution is here, and silver is a serious component in those industries. So even if we were to look at recession coming down the pike, those industries are not going anywhere, and investment is certainly going to be put into that. Now, the other optimistic news for silver is Reuters tells us U.S. consumer confidence steady in March, inflation expectations creep up. Now, inflation expectations creeping up, that's not positive for anyone, but it's positive for silver stackers because inflation, historically, as inflation goes up, so the value of silver goes up, right? People pull out of treasuries, they pull out of the dollar, and they go in to silver, like I'm holding in my hand. And even without looking at the content of this article, that headline tells us that there's more ways to look at silver beyond people investing in paper silver. The spiral of inflation, as we've just lived through for the past 2 years, shows us that when people, even if people are feeling that inflation is here, even if they don't see it yet in the market, like in their grocery store or in their daily life or in their rent, even if they don't actually see prices rising, when you get the idea of inflation into a consumer's mind, they tend to, number one, request higher pay to prepare themselves. And number two, they're not so shocked when the price of items go up. It's a bizarre sociological outcome of kind of groupthink, right? So this article from Reuters is telling us that inflation expectations are creeping up. People are expecting inflation to go on further. And again, that cycle can easily continue, pushing everything up, including bumping silver up. So this article states, U.S. consumer confidence was little changed in March as fading fears of recession took a backseat to growing concerns about the nation's political environment ahead of November's presidential election. Absolutely true. The article says the conference board said that its consumer confidence index dipped this month, essentially unchanged from a downward revised in February. But economists who were polled by Reuters had forecast the index nudging up from the previous reported 106. This is like numbers for inflation, which I'm not going to go deep in the numbers. But the point of this, the thrust of this article is that when economists were polled, they saw that people see inflation going up. And when people see inflation going up, again, they start requesting higher wages. They start accepting the fact that they're going to pay more. This is one other article. It says, this is by the Center for Microeconomic Data, and this is showing that inflation expectations are stable at the short term, but rise at medium and longer term horizons. So inflation is expected to come down the pike. Again, this is Center for Microeconomic Data. I just have a simple question for all of us as silver stackers here in this community. What other community can you imagine or even point to where people are reading articles posted by the Center of Microeconomic Data? That's how deep in the weeds we get over this metal I'm holding in my hand, right? Silver stackers do not mess around. We do not mess around. I never in my life, if you had asked me a couple of decades ago if I would be excited to read an article posted by the Center for Microeconomic Data, I would think there's no way that I will grow up to be that person. So this article says it's a survey of consumer expectations. Again, what are people thinking about silver? About inflation? Is it coming? Should they prepare? Should they start trying to advocate for higher wages, and they should they start to expect higher prices. This says median inflation expectations remained unchanged at 3% at the 1-year horizon, increased to 2.7%. I'm not going to give you all of these numbers, but it says the average voluntary job separations increased, meaning that people would not be so shocked if they were pushed out of their job and they had to change to another job. The article says that on a five-year horizon, as of last month, if you ask people 5 years from now, do they see inflation on the horizon? That perception has increased. And the other part that this article notes is that perceptions and expectations about credit access turned less optimistic. Well, they must be listening to Pound of Gold. They must be watching Pound of Gold videos, because we've talked a lot about what's coming down the road in 2024 for credit, meaning these commercial real estate loans are coming to mature, and that's going to shake everything for regional banks, making everyday people who want to take out a loan or want to get some credit, everyone is going to suffer when that happens. Regional banks are necessary for everyday regular people to get loans. It's necessary for us to get capital to start a business. If you're an entrepreneur, all of that comes a lot from regional banks. So it's not a shock to see that regular everyday people are concerned that they will struggle to get loans in 2024, especially as credit card debt in itself is booming and booming. So there's some interesting news about gold being dumped by hedge funds, but exciting news for silver. And I think we're going to